Hello Earth, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mars Manson, and today we are hopping into another CreepyPasta StoryTime. Today's story is I decided to uncover my sister's secret. I wish I hadn't. This is an 8-part story, and today we are going to be jumping into part 1 and 2. And this is by SentientMagnet. Remember, all of our authors' information is always linked down below, so be sure to go check out their Reddit posts and any social media. And let's get into the spooky story. I've got a sister. Well, I had a sister. Normally, when a family loses a loved one, their memory is kept alive in the form of filling the house with pictures of said person, talking about them, visiting the grave at the graveyard. But in my case, if the people close to me hadn't told me about my sister, I would have never known she existed. You see, if you go to my house, you'll find absolutely no trace of her existence. No pictures, no clothes, no toys, no nothing. Anywhere. Not even in my room, which is odd if you consider it used to be hers. All I really knew about her is that she died 2 years before I was born, and that she apparently looked a lot like me. Or I guess I'm the one that looks like her. Aside from that, she was a complete stranger to me. I didn't even know her name. When I was little, I asked my parents about her a few times. But whatever that happened, they'd simply said, "She's gone, and that makes us sad. But now we have you, sweetie, and that makes us less sad. You're perfect, Jessica." Then they'd give me a kiss, leave, and act as if the conversation never happened. So I soon stopped trying and moved on. One morning, a Saturday morning to be exact, I was eating breakfast as usual when my mother came into the kitchen. "Both me and your father have to go to work today, so you'll have to come to the office with me, dear." "Why? I'm old enough to stay home alone, Mom." "I know, but there's no food home today. We'll go buy food when we get out of the office so you can stay tomorrow." So I accompanied my mother to work. Once we got there, she began to work on her computer while I sat next to her playing on my handheld video game console. After a while, my mother had to go deliver some documents upstairs. "I'll be back in a minute. Don't go out of the office." The way that she said it almost creeped me out. So cold and serious. She must have noticed, though, as she immediately followed in a much more friendlier way. "I don't want you to distract my coworkers, honey. You understand, don't you? You can get out if you need to use the bathroom, but please don't bother any of my colleagues." "I won't." I stayed inside for a short while, but then the urge of having to go to the bathroom came to me. So I went there, trying to draw as less attention as possible in the process. However, when exiting the restroom, I came across a woman. "Why, what brings you here, Missy?" I'm Vanessa's daughter." "Vanessa's daughter? Jessica? I thought that accident had..." Why did she sound so shocked? "Accident? What accident?" I responded with the first thing that came to my mind. "Yes, I'm her second daughter." She then became more calm. "Oh, forgive me. I didn't know she had another one. I've mistaken you for sister." We then parted ways. I was blown away by the conversation I'd just had. That person had unknowingly revealed to me information about my sister my parents had kept a secret to me for years. It turns out not only did I look like my sister, I also shared her name. And apparently, she died due to an accident? But what kind of accident? Why did my parents want me to not know that? What were they hiding? That mystery haunted me throughout the entire day, to the point I had a nightmare that night. I dreamed I was my sister's ghost, and that my parents had summoned me because they refused to live a life without me. That would explain my looks and my name. No, that's completely ridiculous. It's just a stupid dream. I woke up. It was finally Sunday. I was home alone. The enigma of my sister was still lurking inside my mind. Now was the time to finally solve it. I had a quick breakfast and got to work. I searched everywhere. Closets, drawers, documents, books, nothing. Just as I expected. I had searched the entire house. Well, almost. It was time for Plan B. It was time to go to the only part of the house I wasn't familiar with. The part I had only gone to once before. The basement. I grabbed a flashlight and descended to the depths of the building in search for answers. But there were only boxes full of random objects that weren't related to the mystery. I was about to give up when I heard something behind me. It was a mouse, gross but useless. However, something behind the mouse caught my attention. A weird stack of boxes, oddly placed against a wall, isolated from the other boxes in a rectangular shape. I pulled out a box, then another, and another. I couldn't believe it. A hidden door. I tried to open it, but it was locked. I opened each box in search for a key, and it was my lucky day. The last box had it. I slowly opened the door. I was a bit scared, but my curiosity and excitement bested my fear. I couldn't believe what was in front of me. A maze. A maze of corridors, each filled with tons of rooms full of objects scattered all over. Pieces of paper, books, chairs, broken glass, pills, syringes. What was this place? Did my parents build this, or was it already there when they moved in? Whatever it was clear this wasn't just a mere extension of the basement. The light blue walls and floor contrasted with the basement's usual gray color scheme. This wasn't normal, but what was it? I began exploring the place. Its old, empty, and gloomy halls creeped me out, and also fascinated me equally. Anyone could tell it hadn't been used for years. It was pretty cold, too, but that wouldn't stop me. I had to find out the truth. I didn't know what this place was yet, but it was my best bet. It just screamed dark family secrets. As I was investigating one of the rooms, I heard what sounded like a roar in the distance. I went outside the hall to check. Someone bumped into me. I screamed. Whoever had bumped into me screamed right after. I shined my light at them, only to see a little girl. She seemed to be around 7 or 8 years old. Right away, I noticed her dirty and torn clothes. She had no shoes, only apart from torn socks. "Who are you?" we both asked in unison. Neither of us responded. What followed was an awkward period of us staring at each other that gave me time to find out what her face looked like. She had both eye sockets, but only one eye. It was brown, just like my eyes. However, her hair was black as coal, unlike mine, which is blonde. "Are you with Primal?" she asked. "What? Who's Primal? Who are you, and what are you doing under my house?" I heard that roar again. This time it sounded louder and closer to me. "No, Primal's coming, quick, before she finds us." Still with no idea about who she, Primal, or that place were, I reluctantly followed her to a nearby room, and we hid under a table. So there I was, hiding under a table in some kind of abandoned, secret underground bunker that for some reason had been connected to my basement this whole time. Right beside me was a little girl that had somehow been down there for who knows how long. And worst of all, we were apparently hiding from someone, or something, this girl calls Primal, who seemingly also lived under my house without me knowing it. Listen, could you please explain what the heck is going on? Shh, Primal's here. I peeked from under the table and I couldn't believe my eyes. Right in front of me was a creature that had kind of resembled a human, but it definitely wasn't that. Or at least it was unlike any human I'd ever seen. It had no eyes or hair, but it did have a pair of pretty small ears, 2 holes that served as its nose, and a mouth. Those teeth. They looked like they could easily belong to a lion. One of her arms was like a small toddler's arm. The other could rival that of a bear in size, and probably also strength. Its pulsating veins were visible all through its body. Its hand, the big one, was packed with what I first thought were claws, but once I paid attention to details, I found out they were actually human nails, but they were absurdly long and sharp. The little girl said it was female. How she'd managed to pinpoint the gender of that thing was beyond me. We were petrified under the table as Primal used her senses to find us. After realizing she couldn't hear us, she started doing awkward movements with her head. After seeing that, the girl launched onto me and began to try to cover my body with hers. "What are you doing?" I tried to say, but she was covering my mouth. A few seconds after that, Primal left and the girl finally let me go. "What were you doing?" She was trying to smell us, since your smell is so different to any smell both me and her have ever smelled. She would have found you easily, so I used my smell to hide yours. Oh, wow, that's pretty clever. What in the world was that thing? It's Primal, I've already told you. Actually, I'd already guessed it was Primal, but I was so shocked that my mouth instinctively uttered those words. Anyway, I think it's time we properly introduce ourselves. My name's Jessica, what's yours? Not close enough. What? You asked me what my name was, so I've told you my name. That is not a name. The first person who ever talked about me used those words to refer to me, so it's my name. If you say so, but that's way too long and weird. I'm not gonna call you that. Let's see, I'll call you Chloe. Chloe, do you like that? Chloe, yes, I think it's a good name. Nice to meet you, Chloe. Now, where were we? Then I remembered I had come here in search for answers about my dead sister. And that all of this was happening under my house. Hey, Chloe? How long have you been here? Do you know what all of this is? What do you mean, all of this? I've been here all my life. What? You mean you were born in my basement? I don't know. The room I was born is in your basement? No, I mean everything around you. All you can see and beyond. Everything's in my basement. We are in my basement right now. So, the world's your basement? You run the world? No. Forget about it. Help me get back to the exit so I can show you. So Chloe and I ventured deeper in search for the door from which I entered this place. But it turned out this place was much bigger than I expected, and the exit was nowhere to be found. Plus, as mysterious and creepy as it was, the chances of the place having anything to do with my sister were going down by the minute. That is, until we found a certain room. At first it looked like any other room, and you could find in there, but it wasn't long before we noticed writing on the walls, a list of names, girls' names. Anne, Paula, Stephanie, Susie, Judith, and Jessica. I know Jessica is a pretty common name, so seeing it in the middle of the list of names isn't a big deal. Except it was the only name that was underlined. My name, my sister's name, was being set apart from all the others in a facility that was under my house. This couldn't be a coincidence. This wasn't a coincidence. I shined my flashlight to other parts of the wall to see there were more secrets. And there were. Above the list of girls' names, a word and a date, perfection, 2/5/1997. 1997. This was a year before I was born. So the name Jessica had to be referring to my sister, right? But what could perfection mean? I don't understand, I uttered to myself out loud. Chloe heard it. Yeah, me neither. I've never understood that kind of drawing. I think that it's ugly. Wait, you don't know how to read? What's a read? I'll explain it to you later. I gotta find more clues. I searched that room to hell and back, but I couldn't find anything else. I told Chloe to go to another room. We began walking down a hall. I think my house is close by. Your house? Yes, it's the room where... Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Primal was there, at the far end of the hall. She had heard and smelt us. We couldn't hide this time. We had to run. At first we outran her, but she then began gaining speed by the second. Hey, Jessica, I think that tunnel in the distance is the one that leads to my house. Follow me. Okay, I'm right behind you. That tunnel was marked with a handprint, presumably Chloe's handprint. She entered the hole first. When I was about to enter the tunnel, I felt Primal's huge hand grab one of my legs. I then felt how her teeth pierced through my leg. It was extremely painful, and I screamed. What's wrong? I heard Chloe say from the other end of the tunnel. I then grabbed my flashlight and hit Primal in the head several times with it. I knew it didn't hurt her, but it at least distracted her, and that gave me just enough time to crawl away to the other end. After I made it to the end, Chloe and I covered the tunnel with a huge rock that she had found. We heard Primal leave. We were safe for now. Did you get hurt? A little, but don't worry, I'll be okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Anyway, welcome to my house. That was part 1 and part 2 of I decided to uncover my sister's secret. I wish I hadn't. I hope that you guys enjoyed this creepypasta story as much as I did. We will be picking up part 3 and part 4 in a later video, so definitely subscribe so that you don't miss out on those. Let me know in the comments down below what was your favorite part of this story, and I will see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay spooky.